Should you back Mutant Year Zero Zone Wars? No, but let me tell you why. Because my name is Sam, this is Should You Back It, and I'm here to help you crowdfund with confidence. Designed to be played by up to 4 players, Zone Wars is all about embracing mayhem and emergent narratives, which is usually just fancy marketing speech to say that this is a fun and fast-flowing, small miniature count skirmish game. Everything you need for 2 players is included in the Zone Wars core game, which has a £48 pledge price, includes 6 32mm figures, which are sun-dropped, which basically just means that they have like a dark wash on them, which means you can paint them if you wanted to, but you may need to try and strip the sun drop off the miniatures first. In this core set there are the rules, scenarios, terrain, dice, cards and tokens. If you pledge £79 you'll also get the robots and psionics expansion, which will allow you up to 4 players to play now that you've got 4 factions. The miniatures look cool. There are some great example images of the miniatures both in a pre-painted and painted form, and I think they look fantastic. But before we talk about gameplay, let's do a risk assessment on the company behind this game. Whenever we do back something on Kickstarter or any crowdfunding platform, it's always important to do some research on the company, see how their past projects went, see how they handled everything, just to get a sense of what our experience could be backing their game. Now, Zone Wars is being made by Fria League. They have a stellar reputation creating tabletop RPGs and working with established IPs. They've ran a number of crowdfunding campaigns and as far as I can tell, have delivered on all of them. So from a risk assessment point of view, they seem safe. So what is gameplay like? Well, the Kickstarter campaign is actually quite absent of any gameplay videos, which is quite unfortunate, but they do have a link to where you can get a full print and play package of assets containing the rules for the game, the character, item, mutation, and module cards, I think is what they called it. So you can print this out at home and see what it's like to play for yourself. The way that the game works though is that you'll play out a scenario each time, which has its own victory conditions. Then during each round, each character on the table has a character token. All the character tokens are put into a bag, and instead of a you go, I go system, you'll draw a character token from the bag, activate that character you drew until all characters have had a chance to go. It makes for a more randomized gameplay activation that we see in a few other miniature games like Strontium Dog from Warlord, but if you don't like that kind of randomness, then this is something to consider. When you activate a character, you have 3 choices. You can take an action, you can overwatch to make a ranged attack later in the round, or you can wait, which is where you'll place your character token back into the bag to be activated later in the round, which I like as a feature. The actions a character can take are all pretty standard for any miniature game. You can move, you can charge, you can shoot, and so on. And there are moments from what I've read in the rule set that enable you to take some fun actions like stealing items from other characters if you break them. But the biggest thing that adds variety to the game are mutations or modules that you can adapt and evolve your character with. These are things that thematically make sense in Mutant Year Zero and can make some of your character actions more effective. They can enhance your movement or attack ability, or can help your model escape taking damage. Everything is all just quite typical, really. So should you back it? Well, if you're a fan of Mutant Year Zero, if you love the setting, if you have the tabletop RPG and are looking for minis or a way to enhance that experience, then yes, back this game, add it to your collection. This game is really well priced. The core set is £48, the shipping isn't ridiculous. If all goes to plan, this Kickstarter would cost £58, including shipping if you lived in the UK, which is pretty amazing in these times. Part of me thought about backing this game solely because it was priced so reasonably for what is a full game, and that's something to be heavily commended. If you are a fan of miniature games and think this looks quite cool, I actually don't think you should back this game though, and here's why. From reading through the rule set for this game, it all just seemed incredibly normal, very standard, which I understand isn't something that is necessarily a criticism, and yes, there may be some cool unique things in the module and mutation cards, but at its core, this is a very typical miniature game. If you've played a miniature game before, you'll already have a very good understanding of how to play this game and the experience that you can expect to have. One of the big questions I have about this game is equally what support will there be post-launch? Will we see new factions, new setting expansions, more miniatures, or will this basically be it? There doesn't seem to be a clear indication of what the support will be like from the campaign, and that is a black spot for me when it comes to this title. From what I've seen, I don't think Zone Wars does anything that is either unique enough or at the very least different enough to warrant adding it to my collection when I've already got a number of great war games and great skirmish games already in there. The price point makes this a tempting pledge, but I'll likely wait to see this game come to retail in order to not only see some gameplay, but equally to see what further support we'll see for the title. But as always, this is my recommendation. Hopefully it's made you feel a little bit more informed. If you found it helpful, I'd love it if you could hit the subscribe button. I'm a new channel and your support really does help.